Season 9 has come and went, and the finale has finally aired. So the show opens up with Rick and Morty and the rest of the Smith family being dead. Well, this certainly escalated quickly. Wait, that's the wrong tombstone! Okay, I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. A lot of people will tell you that Rick and Morty is back to where it was back in season 2. Yeah, it's nowhere near it. Anybody who's telling you that, you're lying or trying to get some type of internet clout. This season has been very up and down like a roller coaster. There are some times they come with great ideas and great episodes. Other times they just recycle old ideas, bring back plot threads like Snowball, or recycle jokes and repeat them over and over again, hoping that this time it'll be funny. So how did the finale go? Well, we actually went back to form, believe it or not. Yeah, this was actually a very good episode. It is something you would expect from seasons 1, 2, or even 3. I particularly love how the ending was pretty depressing. Anyway, the episode begins with Rick and Morty going to an estate sale of one of the other Ricks and Mortys who've killed themselves. Another Morty, who's wearing sunglasses, who we later find out is actually his eyes, tells him he should go to other funerals for Morty's, just to see his relatives bawl their eyes out. Originally, he goes to Big Legs Morty's funeral and, well, actually was bored until he saw Jessica kiss him. And then he started going to other Morty's funerals, like a Toast Morty or one where they're in the Matrix. And finally, they clicked on to Morty and watching Jerry almost give like a sermon on the mound, saying, "Do you love my son?" Getting everybody all nice and hyped. And for some reason, our Morty decides to stick around. Eventually, they get to the burial, and the family dog, who's a Burmese mountain dog, greets Morty by licking. The rest of the Smith family come across him and are immediately stunned. Their son's alive. Only for our Morty to say, "Oh, you've never seen another Morty before, have you?" Eventually, our Morty confesses that yes, he's not the Mort. I do love the fact that Morty's portal gun looks like a children's toy version of Rick's portal gun. Eventually, after hanging out with the Smiths of this universe, he goes back to, well, our version of the Smiths. By the way, in the estate sale at the beginning of the episode, Rick buys a magnetic Lazy Susan. Because of that, he ends up buying a motorbike. And it leads to a pretty funny exchange. He says, "Look, they're not your family." And Morty goes, "The people around me are not my family. They're all dead. Nobody here is in it with their original family." The family tree of C-137 Rick and Morty are very convoluted, so here's a scorecard. Eventually, Morty goes back to the other family. I do love the fact that the other family, their Jerry, hasn't been flanderized into the pathetic garbage we've seen today. He actually has a spine. And believe it or not, is actually manipulative. Needless to say, I kind of prefer this Jerry over our Jerry. I love the fact how he gets Morty to even consider breaking the portal gun. Of course, eventually they fight over the portal gun at the cabin. As you can see, Porty Jr. didn't make it. Morty immediately runs for his life, finds a tent that was built by, well, Mort. Open and reads the diary. "My parents have gone crazy. They're forcing you to do things like climb El Capitan." He gets a bus, finds out that Rick is teaching at MIT, goes to one of his lectures, and then convinces him of the multiverse, which Rick has been theorizing for years. And now let's get to the depressing part. The Rick here is a recovering alcoholic. He's going to AA. He's literally trying to better himself. This Rick's life seems to be better. He's even remarried. But because of the stupid portal gun, he has to become a degenerate like he does in our universe, C-137. He has to become drunk, basically push away his family, just to build the stupid portal gun. This, to me, is incredibly depressing. Just watching this guy self-destruct for our eyes. Interestingly enough, he has a cat, decides to experiment with the cat with one of the portals, and of course the cat comes back as a skinned alive cat, in which he's like, "Hey, he's breathing!" And Morty's like, "That's not a good thing." Leads to another great scene is that, as I said, the Jerry and the family aren't exactly pushovers here. They actually drive all the way to Boston, and leads to a great scene where he's actually with the MIT Dean of Admissions. I love the fact that Jerry just sneaks up on him, gets a nice rear naked choke, and Summer is on the computer trying to find out where Rick is, as well as trying to get herself admitted into MIT. Eventually, the Smiths encounter Morty and Rick. They see the portal open. Pandemonium occurs. Eventually, Rick and Jerry fight over the shotgun. Beth brings an actual handgun, shoots at the portal, which sends out a wave, turning Summer into Anastasia, who's now controlled by Echidna. Jerry eventually gets control of the shotgun, shoots Rick. Rick gets another portal gun, shoots it at Jerry, and a lot of fish come out as he just basically disintegrates for us. And finally, Beth commits suicide, leaving only Morty with complete and absolute horror in his eyes. Especially when yard sale Rick shows up, declaring a new yard sale open, with all the people trying to claim whatever this Rick left behind. There is one thing that's kind of annoying me, is the fact that they keep Mr. Poopy Butthole around, particularly with some reason at the end of the years, with Amy trying to get back the original Mr. Poopy Butthole from her universe, and this is just kind of annoying me. Look, I think the joke has gone on a little too. Look, in the first couple times we do it, we usually have time skips, where Mr. Poopy Butthole's life's either improving or exploding, depending on which time we're looking at. This one just seems to be stuck in neutral. Anyway, this is one of the best episodes of the series. The jokes were landing. There was no really stupid A or B plots, just one solid plot. It lent the entire 22 minutes runtime. It is clearly the best episode of the season. Well, that wraps up season 9. Okay, now next month I will be doing more ReZero videos, so be on the lookout for that. Oh yeah, Konosuba's coming back for another season. One of the most consistently well-written shows ever to air. A lot to look forward to, right? Anyways, thank you for joining me this season. Au revoir. Bye.